Welcome back, my friends, to the InObscuria podcast, a podcast where we exhume obscure rock and punk and metal, and we put them in one of three categories: the lost, the forgotten, or the should-have-beens. This week, I am going to go by the moniker Kevin Williams, and over there, that is Captain... No, it's just Robert Harrison, sorry.
Captain Obscuria.
You got the shirt on, man.
I know.
You get
I'm rocking the Obscuria shirt. I wear it 5 days a week because I've got 5 different Obscuria shirts.
Did you hear about Rockin' Pod?
Unfortunately, yes, I did hear about it. They're going to wait a little bit.
They have moved it to 2023.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with all that ham, my friend?
Are we going to invite everybody to the firehouse?
We should.
Oh, ideas?
We should.
Not everybody. Let's just pick the cool crowd.
Okay.
Not Jason Bakken.
No Baco.
No Baco.
He's in Minnesota. He's not going to come anyway.
Yeah, but it's warm here.
It gets warm there in the summer.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Baco. Of course you're invited.
Absolutely. You got an open invitation.
Yeah. We need somebody to open the beer. Okay.
Today was the first warm day of the false spring that we always get. So
the false spring.
It was the false spring today. It was 72 degrees, and I got outside
in Atlanta, Georgia,
and like I do every year, got overly motivated, started 2 big landscape projects, and I feel like a train ran over me 2 or 3 times. So, by the way, did you know that I'm no longer 26 years old?
That's right. You're 27.
I just reminded myself every year about this time. I remind myself that I'm not 26 years old. I get out and after being lethargic all winter and get out there and start doing landscaping stuff. Then about this time of night, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I am getting up there. It's not as easy.
Oh my God! I'm hurt! Oh, yeah! I'm suing y'all! Oh, I'm hurt! Oh, my neck! My back! My neck and my back! Oh, I want $150,000! But we can settle out of court right now.
Robert's already taken his medicine for his back.
Oh, yeah, I popped a couple of ibuprofen, vitamin I.
Couple of mollies. He's feeling fine.
God, it was a good day, though. I had to warm myself out. So if I doze off during the podcast, just throw something at me.
All right, well, we'll see if we can keep you entertained.
I hope you got something heavy. We got something heavy. No light rock episodes tonight. Let's just see.
Wow, how do you know these things?
I just feel
I give you no clues.
I feel the energy coming from that side of the bar.
Well, after you feel somebody's energy, go listen to Pot of Thunder, Cobras and Fire, Growing Up Rock, Slamfest Podcast, Decibel Geek, A to Z Radio, Metal Up Your Podcast, The Hustle, Disciples of the Watch, Podcast Rock City, State of Amorica, Rock Strikes 10, Potter Than Hell, Podkiss, The Kiss Room, Ages of Rock, Retrozest Podcast, The Synaptic Empire, and don't forget about Mr. Monty Colvin, Monty's Rockcast. Come visit us at InObscuria.com, like us, share us, recommend us, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's everything. And then buy a shirt, because Robert has 5 of them.
Yes, I'm bankrolling this operation.
You out there can at least have one.
Yeah, and they look good. We always have great merch. Kevin's an amazing designer, and it's only the finest quality.
Oh, it's the best.
The best. What do they call it? Corinthian cotton, Egyptian cotton.
Egyptian cotton.
Yes, Corinthian leather. I was thinking Ricardo Montalban from the 70s, pulling out references. Did I just mention I'm old? I'm just pulling out Ricardo Montalban references from the 70s.
And he was in Fantasy Island, right?
Yeah, worked with the guy. But the plane is landed.
What was that guy's name?
Tattoo?
No, the real dude.
I don't know.
They made a movie about him.
Well, there's 2 of them. They were brothers. They were twin. Yes,
really?
Go look that up. They're twin brothers.
Are you sure about this?
I'm sure. They took over. I think one quit and the other took over. But no, I have no Herb.
Something like that. They made a movie about the guy.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Apparently he was a bit of a spitfire, and he was a ladies' man and all this stuff. And they got a whole movie about that guy.
Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Like your legs there. That's all I can see.
All right, so let's get into this week's subject matter, because you need something heavy, you said. So
I do. I don't have any caffeine. You got to wake me up over here.
Let me see if I can conjure up something here. So I was digging through the old family crypt. I went down there again.
So you did some landscaping too?
I did, yes. I was moving the coffins around. You got to do that every once in a while. And I stumbled upon what I'm going to call, admittedly, some Class A dork material.
Classy?
Class A.
Class A.
Dork material.
Ooh.
Yes, that proves
No, that class
how
B
much
crap.
No, this is puts me right in the seat of being just the dorkiest of dorks.
Dorkness. Okay.
Yeah. So
Math rock?
no. So I was kind of digging through some stuff, and out fell this book, and I looked at it and I went, "Oh God, I did do that at one point, didn't I?" It was the Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Master Guide.
How to be the king dork. The boss of all the dorks.
But here's the funny thing about this. I don't know if you've ever seen those books back in the day.
No.
I'm sure it's all online now. But
No, I had
do you know the
friends.
concept of this thing? So basically, you would read these books, you'd find out all about these different characters and beasts and all this stuff. And then somebody would put together what they call a campaign, right? And then you would roll all these different dice, different sided dice.
Die.
Like, why are you telling me the die? That's not very nice.
I thought you're in the crypt. You're already there.
So anyway, the concept is you come up with these like wizard and warrior
Yeah.
campaigns, and then you roll dice.
Dices.
And okay, so Brandon Still, my friend Connor Tyndall, and I thought, we're going to do this. This sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we all got the books and
Rip-roaring
stuff, and
time.
we started looking through them. I'm like, damn, there's a lot of reading in here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff I don't understand what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And so then we got invited to this guy's house. This is in high school. We're probably 16. So
He's 32.
we're in a band, and this guy was older. I think he was like
Jesus.
18 or 19.
Okay.
And they invited us to his house, and it was like out in the sticks. We had to drive like 30 minutes with another friend of ours. Like, yeah, come on over. We're going to be doing like Friday night Dungeons and Dragons, a bunch of dudes. You can't get any dorkier than this. But we thought, it seems cool to us. Yeah, we'll try it. And we sat there, and he starts going through it, and the guys that are playing with him are, doing the rolling and talking about all this stuff, and we're looking at each other like, damn, we're too stupid to play Dungeons and Dragons. I don't understand a thing these people are saying. And we even tried after that, because we couldn't hang. We didn't understand what was going on, and so we tried to do our own version of it, and it was just horrible. So it wasn't long that we went back to just playing our punk rock
Yeah.
on Friday nights. But
Just make some
anyway,
noise.
my character, I remember, was a druid. Okay, and the druids were like these
They wore cloaks.
mystical kind of wizardy kind of guys. And so when this book fell out in the crypt, the D&D book, a little sheet of paper fell out of it, which I had scrawled on it something about my character, and I guess I was doing some research. And it said, druids of the circle of waves are tritons that channel the primal energies of the ocean and harness the mystical restorative properties of the sea and command raw power.
Wait, those are Rush lyrics.
I know. And then command the raw power of the tides and waves. I had no idea what any of that meant, and I wrote it down, and I still don't know what it meant.
It was
But-
cryptic, very cryptic.
Yeah, that's about as far as I got with my Dungeons and Dragons experience, because that was all that was on the paper. But it did get me what I needed for this week, so I think it was a sign. So we're going to get a little bit D&D, just a little bit,
D&D,
a little bit Dungeons and Dragons.
drunk and disorderly.
But it was
Been that.
it was this word, waves, tides and waves of the druids, of the circle of waves. I'm like, of course, it is time. It's been since January of 2020 since we have done an episode 115 Excavation NWOBM Part 2.
Nice. Just think of how innocent we were in January of 2020.
Oh, we had no idea what was coming. did we?
No freaking clue what the next 2 years were going to be. That's amazing to think back.
And what is NWOBM, my friend? What have you learned?
New waves.
I think it's just one.
Oh, it's just one. When you mentioned waves, I thought that was a nice correlation of British highlighted mutations. Oh, no, I'm thinking COVID. No,
right.
It'd be heavy metal.
Heavy metal.
Yes.
So perhaps the second most important advancement in the development of metal, only topped by the folks that created it, Ozzy Osbourne, Geezer, Tony, Black Sabbath.
Yeah, that was first.
The new wave of British heavy metal inspired all the innovations of what we would come to know as heavy metal. The look, the sound, everything. This is where it came from. And it was mostly UK bands. Now, they did influence some other scenes, and we'll talk a little bit about that, but mostly really young musicians who were in England during the punk era. So punk was big in the mid to late 70s, and these were kids that took everything that they loved about hard rock and acid rock before that and glam rock, and they mix it with the punk attitude, and they got this thing that was called new wave of British heavy metal. At least that's how it was labeled. And in the late 70s, early 80s, it is really what gave birth to what was to come, which was thrash and black metal and death metal and grindcore. All of these heavier versions of metal that were to come owe everything to the new wave of British heavy metal. Like I said, it's when the visuals of heavy metal was established. Denim and leather, studs.
I mean, they wrote a song about it.
Saxon wrote,
Yeah.
they got a whole damn album about it. Studs, bullet belts, and the almighty battle vest. Oh, yeah.
And that translates through a lot of bands there. The denim, leather, different bands had different looks. Some were just spandex and T-shirts, but I think the battle vest is the one common element through most of the bands, most of the fans at least.
Yeah, so either some sort of jacket that is either partially leather or denim and has a bunch of buttons or patches.
You have one of the most epic ones. If people haven't seen pictures of it, that yours. I don't have one, but yours makes up for me not having one.
I have two. You could wear the other one.
Okay, feel bad and let me wear that once in a while.
So if you think about the top tier bands that came out of this whole movement, it's Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Motorhead, Saxon, Def Leppard, and a little bit lower tier, Diamond Head and Venom. Those are the ones that people kind of know of and think of. And it didn't stay in the UK. Once it caught on, there were American bands like Riot and Armored Saint. There was Accept in Germany. And in Japan, there was Loudness. And we've talked about all of these bands. And we've even talked to some of these bands.
Yes, we have.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Pat ourselves on the back. Right
Yeah.
there.
So let's jump in. Last time we played a lot of really good bands. In fact, I looked back and we played 10 bands the last time we did this. We're not going to go quite that deep this time. I don't know what we were thinking. We were drinking a lot of beer back then.
Yes. I'm sobered up.
Not really.
2 days.
But I'm going to start with a band.
Speaking of that, I found coconut tequila.
Coconut tequila.
Yeah. Oh, good God almighty. It goes down way too fast.
I'm not big on the flavored anything.
You know what? It keeps me from mixing it with really bad stuff, so just drink it straight. Anyway, I'll let you sample it.
Straight. Okay. Yeah, me and tequila, we've got a history.
I did too, and it's been 30 years since we last had a get-together, and we've made amends.
That used to be my drink of choice at one point, back when we first met.
In fact, we may take a break. I may go get one, because I don't have any beer.
Well, why don't you do that right now?
Okay.
Tequila.
We rolling?
Yeah, we're going.
Got you a little taste.
All right. So this is...
Cheers. It tastes like Panama City.
Oh, my God. It smells like spring break.
It's exactly that.
Wow. So let me before I take a sip, I'm going to tell my last time I had a big quantity of tequila was my last time. I believe it was in the early 2000s. And yeah, let's just say I
your birthday?
Maybe. I projectile spray painted someone's bathroom with tequila.
That wasn't me. This is the one you passed out at my house birthday.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was at 21 years of age. We made a kiddie pool full of margarita mix.
Oh, God.
And just proceeded to get just nasty. Yeah, it was an ugly night. So
my buddies used to do that where they get a kiddie pool and they made this drink called High Test. And I don't even remember what was in it. It was just like a whole bunch of different...
Diesel 151 grain alcohol and Kool-Aid or something like that.
Whew.
All right. We're back on track here. Sorry, I derailed the show once again.
That's right. It was very appropriate because the name of the song that we're getting ready to play from this band is called Blood, Guts, and Beer.
Nice.
So this is perfect. It puts us in the perfect mood for this. So we're going to talk about a band formed in 1980 by Algie Ward, who was a former bass player for a punk band from Australia called The Saints, and he spent some time in The Damned, which was a punk band from the UK. And he played on their Machine Gun Etiquette album in 1979, which to me is probably the best Damned album out there. So he left The Damned and formed a heavy metal band called Tank. And they are
that's a great name.
They are often, you're going to like this, they are often compared to Motorhead because both bands were trios, both fronted by a singing bass player, and they both played kind of a loose, almost punk style metal.
Well, I wonder if this is the guy that I read the story tonight. It just popped on my Facebook feed about how the singer for The Damned had a drinking problem. And of all people to kind of give him a lecture, it was Lemmy that took him aside and was like, dude, it's not how much you drink. It's not what you drink. It's how fast you drink. So,
I'm not sure those are words of wisdom, Lemmy, but
Yeah, but I don't know if it worked or not, but that was just the story.
yeah, the singer of the Damned is Dave Vanian, so that's
Yeah, I
probably
think
who he
that was
talking
probably
to.
So he was trying to help him out there.
This guy, Algie Ward, was only in the band for a little bit, and then he forms Tank, and they're a trio, like I said, and they're considered to have one of the best NWOBM debut albums, but their subsequent releases never quite matched the force of the very first one. So, of course, I'm going to play from the first one. They've had 6 official full-length albums from 82 to 2002. I say official because, just like so many bands that we've talked about, after they reunited in the 2000s-ish, they splintered into 2 versions of touring Tank bands. So there's the Tucker Evans Tank, which are the 2 guitarists who have 4 albums that they've released as Tucker Evans Tank. And then there is the Algie Ward's Tank, who have released 2 albums in 13 and 18. So you got 2 versions of these groups out there. The Tucker Evans is considered more of the real band, even though Algie Ward's the one who put the band together. But something cool about that Tucker Evans version is ZP Thart, who we know from Skid Row and Dragon Force, was their singer from 2013 to 2017. So he left Dragon Force, went to that version of Tank, and then from Tank, he went to Skid Row, which is kind of cool.
Making a good round.
Yeah. So again, I'm going to play from the first album, the one that everybody seems to love. It is raw. It gives me a Motorhead vibe. The name of the album is Fifth Hounds of Hades, released in 1982. This is Tank with Blood, Guts, and Beer.
course, now I've got to hear the later stuff to compare that, but that sounded great. It made me think about how when I was learning to play the guitar, I was listening to late 80s, early 90s metal, Metallica, Iron Maiden, at their absolute pinnacle, where the songs were just crazy over the top, the guitars were crazy over the top. If I had started back earlier listening to bands like this, it might have not have been so long before I thought about, I could probably play in a band, because I heard all the crazy stuff and went, no, I can never do that.
Right.
But when I listen to this, I hear the same guitar riffs that I was writing back.
Almost sounded like one of your riffs, to be honest.
Waterfall. I mean, like, it's totally relatable, this music. And that's one of the reasons I like Motorhead. I could see myself, fitting in with a band like that. Just, music wise, I can't play. I've tried it. Believe me, it was ugly. I tried to play the Trooper back when I was first learning to play guitar. I'm glad there's no recordings.
New wave
that.
of British heavy metal band, by the way.
Yeah. So I just, it's weird that how the timing worked out, that if it just delayed me wanting to get into a band by 10 years, because I just thought, I can't really do that. And then once grunge kind of took hold, I thought, okay, you can play simpler music. If you're not a guitar virtuoso, you can still be in a band and have fun and write music. So I appreciate this early NWOBM.
What's funny, you mentioned Metallica, because you probably got into Metallica more so a little bit later in the career than I did.
Oh, right. One, just come out. So I missed all the early stuff.
Right. So if you go back to early Metallica, what were they influenced by, and who were they talking about, and who were they covering? Mm-hmm. New wave of British heavy metal bands. That's what Lars brought to James and Kirk and the guys, was all of these European, UK-based bands that they didn't have access to at that time. And so Lars brought in all of this new wave of British heavy metal stuff like Diamond Head. And one true barometer of if your NWOBM band is worthy or not is, does the band have a patch or a button on a member of Metallica's jacket?
Yeah, or one of their jackets, or
did they wear a t-shirt?
Yeah.
And Tank is one of those. So
nice.
James Hetfield, to this day, when he wears his battle vest, Tank is on his shoulder. So
that's a good compliment.
Yeah. So another thing is, did you ever watch Stranger Things?
I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes because
of the first season.
Yeah,
only?
I think there was some. I was trying to pick out some references because I knew some of it was filmed in Atlanta.
Right.
Number 2, the 80s nostalgia. At first, I thought was kind of cool, the cars and things like that. Not to mention that I was trying to get my van rented because it was 82 and it would have been rented, except it's a piece of crap. So right. It was supposed to be brand new back then. If they need a piece of crap, van. But anyway, so I watched the first 3 episodes, and it got stranger and weird, and I just lost. Yeah.
So science fiction show on Netflix based in the early 80s. The kids all play Dungeons and Dragons, which kind of feeds into what we're talking about here. But I can't remember if it's the second or third season. I get confused because it's been so long since I watched it. In one of the seasons, there is this older brother character that's a real asshole, and when they show him in his room in one of the shows, there is a huge Tank poster on his wall.
Somebody was doing their homework.
So they had it right. I can't remember what year it was supposed to be, 84 or 85, which is exactly when Tank was riding high with their third or
like
fourth
of all
album.
the bands back then to choose from 1984.
Yeah.
Somebody either was a fan or really did their research.
Yeah, so I was very proud to see that they had gotten that right, especially for some guy who has a mullet and drives a Camaro. Oh yeah, Tank would have been.
Is that his character?
Oh yeah, that's his character.
Oh, I feel seen.
All right, let's go to song number 2, and this is a very odd named band from Bradford, West Yorkshire, England, formed in 1982.
They're famous for their pudding.
Pudding. I love pudding. We don't eat pudding here.
No, we don't.
It's different here.
No, it's like snack pack pudding. We
eat Jell-O instant pudding here.
Oh God, that stuff's good.
Yeah, we don't eat.
I haven't had it in 30
blood
years,
pudding and stuff like that.
Oh God. Okay, maybe not.
But this band has their name. Okay, their name is Baby Tuku. Like, why? Why would you do that to yourself?
And they're not Japanese. They're from
the UK.
Yeah, they speak.
They
English.
know English.
Yeah, they know.
And
it's not. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Was there an inside joke? There had to have been an inside.
So the insight here is, I guess they wanted to sound like they were readers. Their name is taken from a James Joyce novel, but still, it doesn't translate to heavy metal.
Think about your fan base.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of metalheads reading James Joyce.
Now, these guys were more part of the end of the new wave of British heavy metal. If you think about it, it sort of started late 70s. By the time you got to 83, you had thrash. So your Metallica had come out with their debut album.
Yeah.
You had Slayer right behind them, followed by Anthrax and a whole bunch of other bands who were getting a little more extreme than the NWOBM bands and would kind of soon take over that territory. So you either had bands that were in the new wave of British heavy metal movement, they were either quitting, forming other heavier, more extreme bands, or they were trying to go really commercial so that they could get the hits, or you had some that just transitioned, like your Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and Def Leppard. So they all transitioned to these other things that were beyond where they started. This band didn't even get their first album out until 86. So at that point, they're kind of chasing, 84. They got their first out in 84, their second in 86, but still they were kind of chasing something that had sort of, the wave had already passed a little bit. But they're still new wave of British heavy metal. And something cool is after they were done in 86, the singer Rob Armitage briefly joined Accept. He was supposed to replace Udo in Accept, and before he could record an album with him, he was replaced by the American David Reese, who the album that's released after Udo left was with David Reese in 88. So
close.
So close, so close. So here is, at one point, Accept's singer for a minute, Baby Tuku from Force Majeure that came out in 1986. This is from their second album and last album. This is Falling Star.
Yeah, I can see why they fired him.
I thought he would fit in. He had a sort of
I love
Udo
the music,
voice.
but he sounds like Brian Johnson trying to do metal.
Ah, okay.
I didn't really dig it.
All right.
So
All
I like the music, though. It's a great sound. It started off great, but yeah, I could see where his voice might not be what people are looking for.
I noticed a few pew-pews in there.
Yeah.
They added a little bit of that, and they had some keyboards in there, so they were shooting towards the commercial space of 86.
Oh, that was totally. Yeah, I mean, he's trying to be.
When we talk about 1986, that's
That was
1986.
it. Yeah, if you weren't alive then, that's what it sounded like.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to another band. This is a very obscure band, which is what we do here, so perfect place for it. This is a band called...
Really?
How about
I
that?
didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. And I got this off of a great compilation. I have two of these in this series. It's called Job Center Rejects, Ultra Rare NWOBM.
The unemployable.
The covers are great. They look like really bad children-drawn versions of tough guys from the 80s. It's really great.
I'm a tough guy because I'm wearing spandex and I've got like 3 cans of hairspray. Aquanet. Sorry, I was trying to think of the brand. 3 cans of Aquanet, so I'm a real tough guy.
If you ever saw Napoleon Dynamite and the drawings that he would do in the movie,
I never saw that.
You got to see it. That's a great movie. But yeah, his like what were supposed to be his cool drawings. This is kind of what the covers of these look like. But there's just a ton of bands that you've never heard of, and Overdrive is one of them. Which how could there not be another band out there named Overdrive?
Once again, that's a great name. I think Tank, Overdrive, excellent names.
Great name. Baby Tucku,
No.
not so much.
Not
so much. Try again. Okay, so they were active from 1977 to 82, and then they were active again from 88 to 94, and then they reformed again in 2004, and they're still around today.
Yeah, don't overdo it.
So
take a break.
Yeah, just like little
Pace
breaks.
yourself.
Their heyday was really the early 80s, and they shared the stage with a lot of the kind of what I call B tier, C tier NWOBM bands. Probably the one that people know is Raven. They played with Raven, so they supported Raven on a tour. But they did their own music, so they self-released back in the day, and they called their label Boring Grantham Records, and they named their label after their hometown. And if you look up Grantham, in 2011, it was voted the most boring town in the UK.
Wow, that says a lot.
So they got it right by naming their record company Boring Grantham Records.
It's like Elon Musk and the Boring Company.
So since their reunion in 2004, it's been the longest period of their lasting as a band, they've put out more albums in the
retro time
in the near term than they have when they were originally out. But they've released 5 full-length albums from 78 to 2014, and they've done tours with some of the B tier bands to this day. They've just toured with Witchfind, which is another great NWOBM band, which we won't play on this episode, but we'll get there. Let's check out some Overdrive and see if they live up to their name. So this is On the Run, again, from a compilation I have called Job Center Rejects.
was good. That had everything I love about this genre of music. I mean, starting off with Iron Maiden and
Right?
the singer that I can never remember his name, the first singer. It's wow,
Tip of my tongue right now.
I stumped you. Okay, I don't feel as bad. Anyway, we know what we're talking about. But they had all the same, the guitar sounds, the vocal sounds, everything was the same. I loved the
Paul
little bit of
Di'Anno.
feedback. Yeah, Paul. God almighty. No,
I've had a long day.
I
man. I'm
understand.
sorry.
And I always have a problem with him, but I love his voice because once again, it's one of these guys that seems like an everyday guy. It's not Bruce Dickinson's amazing. I could never even come close to singing like that.
A little more punk rock, a little
Yeah,
edgier.
exactly. So anyway, the little bit of feedback right before the guitar came into the lead, I miss that. You don't hear that anymore. It's just the guitar sounds are so perfect that they sound like they're coming straight out of the mixing board, where this, you could tell that was a guitar sitting in a room with a microphone sitting in front of it. This guy turns his volume up right before the lead starts, and they just leave it in. And I love that.
Yeah.
It's so analog and straightforward. It's just hard rock, but with a few little twists that make it metal.
For a 4.5-minute song, they had a lot of movement in it.
Yeah,
so you had
exactly.
that breakdown in the middle, and then you had your amazing guitar harmonies.
The guitar harmonies, can't leave that out.
And I don't know about you, but the lead, I loved the lead, and I realized that it reminded me of a certain, what do you call him? Perhaps a spaceman. Did it remind you of Kiss?
No,
I think that was your Kiss connection. That was your Kiss connection with a K.
That was your Kiss connection.
No,
I don't know
that
about
lead
that.
was so Ace Frehley in tone, and even the notes he was playing, and it had the slop in it.
I'll give it to you.
And
it's all about the slop.
by the way, the main riff, I'm sorry, but that was just a reinterpretation of Making Love by Kiss. It was, man.
I thought it was Running Free. I'm running free.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought they were a complete Kiss Iron Maiden baby.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
No, that's true. Yeah, if Gene and Paul and Bruce and a couple other people got it on, had like some type of weird, insemination thing going on. I don't know if he had.
I don't know where you're going with this. I'm getting kind of grossed out.
Ow!
I'm drinking. If they have technology, they could pull that off these days.
I feel like that was our Kiss connection today
Okay.
because I heard Ace Frehley all over that lead.
Okay,
But we'll see.
I'm not gonna
We'll let the people tell us.
Yeah.
The people will tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
People?
tell him he's wrong.
Let me tell you something, people.
Anyway, all right, moving on. I had a little drink too, didn't I?
Did you?
All right, moving on. Here is another band that is on the front pocket of Mr. James Hetfield's battle vest. So wake up for this one. So this is a band from Wakefield, West Yorkshire, England. I love how I say that, like
You did well.
like I'm an Englishman.
Yeah, you did well.
Not at all.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. Originally formed in 1978, and they got back together in 86. And then they got back together in 2014. Do you see a recurring theme here?
So we have the band like, it's a popular again? Okay.
It didn't work.
And then
we'll try it again.
I got a mortgage to pay. Let's get it back
Right.
together one more time.
And then they get a little bit older and it's like, screw it. That's what I want to do. I'm going to do it. I don't care.
I got nothing better.
Yeah. So
Kids are in college. Let's go.
this band incorporates a little more of the 70s glam rock into their metal. And something interesting is the frontman, his name was Steve Zodiac, by the way, badass rock and roll name.
That is a good name.
Steve Zodiac played a Fender Telecaster. Now, if you think
that's
to
different.
these bands, I don't think I've ever seen any NWOBM band with a Telecaster.
No, I thought they all played Flying V's. That was just a
They have-
requirement.
They have some sort of Gibson, or if they're playing a Fender, it's going to be a Strat.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be like a Kramer, or or whatever was coming on.
By the way, I think today's the anniversary of the Flying V from 1958.
How about that?
Yeah, I'm full of it
Good
today.
look at you. So anyway, what's odd, if you don't play guitar, usually you think of a Telecaster as mainly a country instrument originally. And
Rockabilly.
it's a little more laid back, I would say, than you wouldn't think of a Fender Telecaster, but maybe he had humbuckers in it, but you wouldn't think of like a full crunchy tone coming out of a Telecaster.
I tried.
But I have one with a humbucker that I got from Jeremy, which is amazing. That's my favorite guitar, actually, is a Telecaster. But anyway, that set them apart a little bit because you just didn't see that. And their first album was recorded live because they thought they sounded best live. So good thinking. Hey, that's what we used to do.
That could have been a Kiss connection.
So their big break was they played the Heavy Metal Holocaust Music Festival in August of 1981 with Motorhead, Ozzy, and Triumph.
Wow.
That would have
Where
been
was
badass.
that? Where was that? Did you say where it was? I don't remember.
I don't know. It was just called the Heavy Metal
wonder
Holocaust.
where
I'm
it was.
assuming in Europe somewhere is what I would assume.
Yeah, it's always good to call
30
something about the Holocaust in Europe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm assuming it wasn't in Germany. It was around 30,000 heavy metal. Oh, sorry.
Oops.
Yeah. Not in Israel, not in Germany.
No,
okay. We're somewhere around 30,000 heavy metal fans that this band got to play for. And their name is Vardis, which is kind of cool sounding. I don't really know what it means, but Vardis. And again, they're kind of a little bit different sound because they have a little glammier sound to it. And like I said, they are proudly displayed on James Hetfield's Battle Vest to this day. So 5 full lengths from this band from 1980 through 2016. They're still going. All these bands, they just keep going.
Good for them.
They're riding the wave again. Let's hear a little Vardis. This song is called Love is Dead from The World's Insane, an album that came out in 1981.
Okay, I like that a lot, but you had mentioned that they have a little more glam influence. What was that? What did you hear in that song that was more glammy?
Well, to me, it comes across a little more punk rock to me.
Okay.
Because it sounds a little more like mid-70s punk, which was taken strongly from the glam rock. But I think it's just the way that they're
not putting you on the spot.
No. I think it was the
attack.
It was the attack of the instruments. I think. It wasn't full-on metal.
It was heavier in the sense that it was more like punk rock, more like Motorhead, where it's just hard driving.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily the guitar riffs.
Like palm muted crunchy crunch.
Yeah, a lot of crunch in that. So it was heavy from the sense that it was just hard driving and kind of punch in the face the whole song. It didn't let up. And it wasn't like the song before that had some nuance to it, and it came and went and had some different stanzas to it. But yeah, this one just more like Motorhead and all the other stuff.
This is one of those bands that back in the day when I was reading my little skateboarder magazine called Thrasher, I would read about this band, and but I never heard them until much later. So I don't think I heard this band until late 90s. And I knew of them from the magazines. I knew of them from Metallica talking about them. But once I heard them, like, oh yeah, I get it.
Because remember, kids, there wasn't always an internet.
There was not.
And if you didn't have
until the late
record,
90s,
you're screwed.
And you would not get a Vardis album at your local record store in the United States of America because it was an import. And unless you pre-ordered it from the record store, went to them and said, please order this for me. It comes from England and I'm going to shell out 3 times what it's worth to get it. Then you didn't get it. You didn't see it. That's how it works. worked back then, kids.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yep.
I was so naive.
Yep, that's how I got some of my progressive rock CDs.
Really?
When CDs first came out and I was trying to get into, same thing, these UK bands that they just didn't sell here. I would go to my local store and it's like, hey, can I see that catalog? And he would, here you go. And I'd mark them down. And he's like, okay, I'll charge you triple the price for what they are. And they'll be here in 2 months.
Not me. I just took whatever they gave me. Oh, Journey. Okay, we're supposed to listen to Journey now. Oh, Aha. Okay, I'll buy that one.
Aha.
Flock of Seagulls. Bought that one.
Hey, it's all good stuff, man.
It is. I spent yesterday, I did drive around a lot and I was in my car, so I got satellite radio in the car.
Why weren't you running?
I wasn't in a hurry. Nobody was chasing me. But I was on the 80s channel. I heard like a steady stream of really good 80s songs, and Flock of Seagulls had two good ones in there I've forgotten about. That not Iran, but the other two big, well, not big hits, but hits that they had. God, I love that. I really do. I've got a soft spot. And all it made me think of was Brandon Still on the guitar. We'd cover Flock of Seagulls once in a while. And
we would kill with that song, by the way.
We would.
We covered Iran, and people just went nuts for it. And this was at a time when the 80s weren't really retro yet.
Not quite.
It wasn't quite cool yet.
It was like, they're getting
It was on
there.
the fringe.
It was on the fringe. So once again, we were trendsetters. But
yes, we
so
were.
refresh my memory. We told the story about the guy carrying me around on his shoulders. Was that to In Cars by Gary Newman, or was it Flock of Seagulls? Do you remember?
Well, I don't know if did we mix the two together? We did Iran In Cars, or In Cars Iran.
Oh, that's right. We did a medley.
So we did a medley.
That's why I couldn't remember which one it was. It was
because
both.
it was both.
¿Por qué no dos?
Well, there you go.
Why not both? So tequila, start speaking Spanish. That's what you get.
Nice. Los nice.
Finished. Anyway, so yes, that I'd put that right up there with Motorhead. That, like I said, I love the hard driving, hard rock. I give me some metal, traditional metal any day of the week. I love Metallica and all that, but I don't get this enough. The hard driving, almost punk rock stuff.
Yeah,
it's
like
blur that line between punk and metal.
And that's what NWOBM is. That's why it connects with me so much, is because I love both punk and metal, and I love the fact that they were the first blenders. They were kind of blending it, and then you got the thrash, and it was like took the speed of the hardcore punk and blended that into metal, and you got thrash. So love it, love it, love it. When we did our first episode on NWOBM music, I played a band, and you probably thought, those of you out there listening, probably thought there's only one all-female NWOBM band, and we played Girl School. And we've played Girl School a few times on this show.
Did we play Brittany Fox playing Girl School, their song?
Girl School!
Girl school! 'Cause my baby goes the rule!
No, we did not.
Okay, because that always throws me off when you talk about
And we
Girl
probably
School.
and we probably won't.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good. I'm okay with that.
We'll play Black Eyed Susan, because that was the band that Dizzy Dean went to after Brittany Fox.
Okay,
And
deal.
I think we already have, maybe.
Yeah, I think we had. I remember talking about Dizzy Dean in the baseball league.
So anyway, there is another all-female band that played NWOBM back in the day, and this is a band from Wandsworth, South London, formed in 1977 by two sisters, Jodie and Julie Turner, and their demos were circulating the London underground scene in the late 70s, and then they got their big break. They played the Reading Festival, which is a huge yearly festival, annual festival in England, and they played it in 1982, and they got their deal with A&M Records out of that one performance at the Reading Festival, which is pretty cool. And after their second album came out in 83, they actually co-headlined a tour with Y&T, which is a fairly famous hair band. And they supported, in 1983, they supported both Iron Maiden and Def Leppard on their UK and European tours. And this band is called Rock Goddess.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
So all-female band called Rock Goddess. A little tongue-in-cheek, but hell, they supported Iron Maiden and Def Leppard in 1983. That was Peace of Mind for Maiden, and that would have been maybe just before Pyromania for Def Leppard. So it'd been High and Dry, I guess. Badass.
Saturday
So badass.
night. Yeah, I don't know what the music industry was like exactly back then, but I can't imagine early 80s being an all-female rock group.
Oh, I'm sure they got treated real well.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
I bet these are a bunch of really tough chicks.
Yeah.
Because they had to be.
Yeah, to put up with that crap that they had to deal with, I'm sure.
Yeah. So they disbanded in 87, but they reformed several times, just like all of these bands. And by 2019, they had another top 10 album in the UK on the rock and metal chart, which is pretty cool. They had a top 40 placing national song. And they've only had 4 full lengths from 83 to 2019, but their latest album, they actually got some good exposure. So we're going to play a little old school Rock Goddess. This is from their very first album, just called Rock Goddess. And I love the title of this song for an all-female girl group who are playing NWOBM music. This is called Satisfied, Then Crucified.
Ooh, look out. Yeah, let's delve into them some more at some point in the future.
Those ladies just kicked us in the nuts.
My voice is up here because I just got kicked. Yes, I agree. I love that voice. That's a don't fuck with me voice.
Yeah, totally.
She's got some cojones. Yeah, metaphorically. Let's just
really, really, really dig this band. In fact, as much as I love Girl School, I kind of like
this just took a couple of steps ahead of Girl School for me. I love that voice. I love the hard driving rock and roll sound of that. NWOBM. I can't put my finger on exactly the difference between that and a couple other bands that got the same driving sound, but they're not NWOBM. But there's just this force behind that music that propelled them and other bands to go, yeah, let's do that.
Very, very much of the early 80s. I mean, you can just hear it and go, that's early 80s.
Oh, that's it. It didn't, you try to recreate that any other time, and it's not going to sound the same.
Although we have played some of these newer, new wave of traditional heavy metal bands that do a pretty damn good job of
traditional metal.
Of trying to do this.
Right, but this new wave stuff is never been duplicated that I know of.
Yeah.
It was just a time and a place.
Yeah, super cool band. And they actually, I think one of the members did go over to Girl School, so they have kind of traded members a little bit. But I guess they don't have that many options.
No, I was going to say
there aren't
job openings in that realm are pretty short.
But I would put these ladies, they're just as badass as Wendy O. Williams or Girl School, who were out at that time. And very much in the same line as the Runaways, so just kick-ass women playing rock and roll. Love it.
Needs to be more of it.
It really does. I tried to make a few. They're just not going down the right path yet.
There's still time. Don't push them too hard. They'll run away. They'll rebel by not being music, but if you just ignore it, they're going to be rebellious and pick up the guitar.
Actually, I haven't pushed my kids at all. I just laid it out to them. I said, if you want to go in the room down in the basement, if you want to play the drums, if you want to pick up a guitar or anything, it's there for you.
Right.
You can do it anytime.
And how many parents are like, no, don't touch that.
Don't touch that. Don't go in that room. That's my stuff.
No, you're like...
No, I was like, hit the hell out of those drums. And what do? They completely ignore it.
And they're all of 10 years old.
They are. We'll see what happens.
Don't get them started too soon. They'll peak at 12, and then
We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't care as long as they're happy.
Yep.
All right. So here's another band that you always heard about, you always read about back in the day in the old metal mags, but again, I just never had exposure to them until later in the 90s, and it's a band called Praying Mantis. I mean, if you want to come up with a metal band name, Praying Mantis is pretty.
Is it Pray, P-R-A-Y?
It is P-R-A-Y.
See.
Yeah, it could be P-R-E-Y.
Right.
Yeah.
See what they did there.
But no, Praying Mantis, yes. And this is a band that's a little bit older. They formed in 1973, so they were around for most of the 70s, and they have the exact same story as Maiden. So they had their demo tape handed to Neil Kay. Same thing that Maiden had happen. And he was the one who, along with a writer, kind of coined the phrase new wave of British heavy metal. He was the one, Neil Kay, that was playing these demo tapes from these bands at the Sound House, which I believe was a club, basically, where kids would actually go in. This was a thing for NWOBM.
Was this the guitar thing?
Yeah, so they would go in and they would air guitar. They would take their homemade flat cardboard or whatever they made them out of. They would go in and they would listen to Neil Kay spin all these bands, and they would air guitar.
I remember reading this story thinking, that is the most bizarre thing.
Yeah, it was a thing.
I mean, we do it ironically, like, oh, look at me. But no, they would practice and like decorate these guitars.
Decorate these fake guitars, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can even see, and I don't know if you remember the Judas Priest video for Breaking the Law, where the cop, so the whole premise is they break into the bank or whatever, they're robbing a bank, and by the end of it, one of the security guys is playing like a fake guitar. And I always wondered as a kid,
I've got to go back and look at that now.
I was like, why is he playing, why didn't they just give him a real guitar?
Yeah,
well, what he was doing was exactly what the kids were doing.
You think it's like a really super low budget. They can't even afford a guitar to give him.
And it was reverse V. I remember it was a reverse V. I'm like, that's the dumbest fake guitar I've ever seen. The V's not going the right way.
Yeah, when we're done, I'm going to go look that up.
So you got to go look that up. But that's what they were referring to, is this whole scene where they would go and listen to the Sound House.
Very strange.
So same story with Praying Mantis. They took it to Neil Kay. He played it at Sound House, and eventually, just like Maiden, he released their album on the Sound House tapes and came out in 1979, right around the same time as Maiden. Didn't quite go the same path as Maiden, but they were a supporting band for Maiden. They were a supporting band for Ronnie Montrose's band Gamma, who we've actually played before on the program. And they had another song that was on the Metal for Mothers compilation, which we talked about in our last NWOBM episode, which was one of those compilations that helped kind of spurn the scene. So this band had everything going from just like a Saxon or a Maiden or Def Leppard, but they only made one album. So this is, kind of what happened. So they got a recording contract with Arista. They released Time Tells No Lies in 1981, and they were supposed to release this song, the single off of this album called I Surrender. And it was supposed to be a big hit for them. It had potential. It was a song that was written by Russ Ballard, very famous songwriter.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, Ritchie Blackmore and his band Rainbow had also recorded I Surrender.
The same song, or
the same song.
The same exact song.
Same exact Russ Ballard song.
Ooh.
And of course, Rainbow trumped this new band, Praying Mantis. They released it. It would be a top 10 hit for Rainbow in the 80s. And unfortunately, Praying Mantis, bad luck. One album, they were done. I guess it just didn't go anywhere as far as their deal that they made. And then they were so big in Japan that they reformed in 1990 because some promoter in Japan said, if you reform and you come play Japan, you will have an audience. And that's what they did. And they started their recording career again in Japan.
Have we contacted anybody in Japan? We can totally go back over there.
So they went from the one album thinking they were done to now by 2018, they had 10 albums. And actually this year, their 11th album, Catharsis, comes out on Frontiers Records. If it's not already out, it's coming out very soon.
That's wild.
Super cool.
It's so weird how Japan has such an influence on rock and roll culture sometimes like that.
And their music is, while they have a very metal-sounding name and they have the same path as Maiden, their music is a little more melodic, a little more AOR, arena rock. So it takes a little bit more from Foreigner than it does, say, from Maiden. But it puts the NWOBM spin on it. So see what you think.
Let's hear it.
All right. So here's a little Praying Mantis for you from that one album that came out in 1981. This song is called Children of the Earth.
as a predator in disguise. Collect all their evils, place them side by side. There you have the potion for my suicide. We were children of the earth, orphans of the universe. Children of the earth, but now our mother is dead. Children of the earth, orphans of the universe. Children of the earth, but now our mother is
I love that. I did. I really love
I'm with
that.
you. That was the Heavy Metal Eagles.
It was. God, there were so many good things about that. Earlier, you mentioned Triumph playing a festival with a bunch of NWOBM bands, and I just thought, wow, that doesn't really fit in. But then when I listen to this band, they're just
Kind of does. Yeah.
very Triumph-y ish. Triumph-ish.
Triumph was like sort of arena rock,
Yeah.
sort of hard rock, sort of proggy.
Yeah, not really metal, but
All
all
over
the
the
other
place.
things. And this band just kind of blended it right back in and gave me everything I love. So the amazing 3-part harmonies all throughout the chorus on that. Just
That's why I called them the Heavy Metal Eagles.
okay, sorry, just got the reference. But you're right. Yeah, it was just a lot of beautiful sound in that was still hard driving, and it didn't get boring like the Eagles. It just was,
right. Still had NWOBM.
you still had to wobble, still had balls to it. But
Yeah.
oh yeah, you're right. The melodicacy it had.
Ooh,
See,
I don't know what that is.
I have
but
a
yes.
glass of tequila. I make up words. Melodicness.
Yeah, I love
it
that
had
band.
with it. Let's maybe work them into another episode as well. I know you're taking notes over there. So
I am. I'm taking-
all these bands.
taking
Just do it
notes. Let
again.
me
Let's just
type
do the
that out
same
here.
episode over again next week. I'll be happy with that.
We'll just do another one. We'll play the same bands. We'll just play another
I
song.
won't remember. It didn't matter, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah, I really dig that band as well, and they're different.
Yeah.
They're different than the rest.
Yep.
That's what makes a lot of these bands that were kind of obviously the upper tier bands. They were unique. I mean, Maiden. Nobody sounds like Maiden. Nobody sounds like Priest and Motorhead. I mean, come on. And that's what set the top tier apart from some of the lower tiers. But this is kind of, I consider them right in the B level. You know,
Oh,
as
the
far
solid
as
Bs.
solid Bs, and
Maybe a B plus.
Still unique. That's what's cool about NWOBM is a lot of these bands still are unique. They weren't all sound alikes. A lot of times when you have these movements of music, you get a lot of sound alikes.
Yes.
And there seemed to be it was like a mindset of what they were trying to do of blending what was late 70s, early 80s together, and they were all kind of doing it, but they were all doing it in a different way, different cocktails.
No, they have some similar elements, but they all have unique sounds to them.
Yeah.
Gypsy Queen, that was the one I was thinking of. Triumph, those Triumph songs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sounded like the Gypsy Queen.
I love Triumph. I'm
I'm learning to respect them a lot more now, all these years later.
I wish they were more obscure because I'd do a whole episode on them.
We'll find an angle.
Yeah, I'll find an angle to get Triumph in at some point.
Yeah, Triumph moment.
You have to say it with a Canadian accent, though.
I was actually thinking, I was like, wait a minute, what is that? Oh, it's not an egg. Oh, come on. A boot. That's all I got.
boot.
That's all I got.
What's another boot?
It's all I got. There's no boot in Triumph, so I can't mimic that at all. Sorry, I scared Dio. He was napping at the foot of the bar.
Poor guy.
Woke his ass up.
Oh, well.
You lazy dog.
All right, for song number 7,
Are we at 7 already?
Yeah, we're at number
It's going
7
by fast.
already. I know. We're going to play a
I'm also
band.
hammered, so that's all right.
So we're going to play a band that the 13-year-old in me, the perpetual 13-year-old in me that I am, still laughs at and calls this band the Booby Band. Because all their covers had boobies.
Spider monkeys?
Yeah. We'll play a little snip of that right here.
This next song is about the boobies! Boobies! Oh, those boobies! Aptly enough,
Let's make it work, girls. It's time to take off your time.
get up! Let me! We are the monkeys, we love to see boobies. Yes, we are the monkeys, so take off your top. We are the monkeys, we love to see boobies. Yes, we are the monkeys, so take off your top. Hey, take off your top. Jump in the right, take off your top. Don't wanna rock, take off your top. Jump in the right, take off your top. Don't wanna rock.
So anyway,
Take off your top. Show us what you got. Sorry,
Take
that's
off
the
your top.
best song ever.
So this band is called Witchfinder General, and they had two albums only
Yeah.
back in the day.
I went for the booby reference.
Well, both of their albums had boobies on
Oh,
them.
nice.
And if you could,
When you're
if you
13,
were so lucky,
It's either that or the JCPenney catalog.
if you or National Geographic.
Oh,
but those were like
no, that was very liberal.
felt weird to look at those.
No, it was we couldn't have those in my house.
But if you happen to find this band's album, either just a picture of it in a magazine or actually find the album in a store, yeah, you were looking at this one for a little bit because it had boobies.
How many times you held that album up with one hand?
So formed in 1979 in Stourbridge, England. I have no idea what that is, but I think I said it right.
South.
Somewhere.
South England.
Yeah, I don't know. They had a heavy Sabbath doom influence, and they were one of the bands that sort of helped that genre of doom establish itself. Although, I mean, come on, every doom band's just trying to be Sabbath. But anyway, they had a very Sabbathy sound. But I call them the band with the boobies on the cover, so they were naughty boys. And they actually disbanded. They only released 2 albums. They disbanded sometime in 1984 because there was so much controversy of their sexually explicit album covers in the UK.
Imagine that. The real controversy is they heard that Kevin Williams was going blind.
But however
And they wanted to stop.
they managed to get 2 of them out. Their first album only had 1 pair of boobies on it. Their second album had, I believe, 3 girls on it.
3 pairs or 3 boobs? There's a difference.
3 pairs.
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
That's 6.
But it's not just the fact that they had boobs on them.
Were they pictures or paintings?
No, these were pictures.
Oh,
These were-
actually photographs.
These
Oh,
were
wow.
recreations of a time in history. So
Yeah.
their name is Witchfinder General. They got their name from a Vincent Price horror movie that came out in 1968.
Vincent Price Invasion.
Of the same name. So Witchfinder General was a movie, and it was based on what happened in the 1600s in England when they had all these witch hunts. Therefore, you
Yep.
get the Witchfinder General. So
Got it.
their album covers, this is great. Their album covers showed very attractive witches with open blouses being tied up, tortured by clergymen and pilgrims in a graveyard. Both of them.
That's just Friday night, man. It's just
There's like
Friday
a church in the
night.
back. So they actually went to a church, and I think it's the band members who were playing the part of the pilgrims and the clergymen. So they actually, for both of their covers, they went to a real church and stood outside and put on these fake like outfits and took these pictures for their album covers. And that is the reason their music was great, but that is the reason that they broke up because their album covers were too spicy.
They were getting run out of town. Is what you're saying.
Wouldn't happen today. Nobody would even care.
No.
Nobody would
a
care.
different time.
But in the early 80s,
controversial.
it was controversy.
That's too controversial. They pushed it a little too far, probably.
We're talking the era of Margaret Thatcher in England and Ronald Reagan in the States. So yes, it was very
and
much,
you know, 20 years ago, Marilyn Manson was shocking, I guess.
exactly. So
Douchebag.
anyway, they did, of course. They reformed in 2006, and they've released one more album since. But that's it from Witchfinder General. I always loved this band, and when I did not get their album until iTunes came out, and I found both their albums and immediately got them. But I love the sound of them. We'll see what you think.
All right.
This is Witchfinder General with No Stayer from Death Penalty, the album, their first album with only one pair of boobies on the front.
Okay, the first part of that was awesome. Once the vocals kicked in, it was kind of, you know. But it's very Rush-ish, the first part of it.
Rush-ish. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Mr. Lifeson.
Huh, interesting, because I always thought the reason I played that song is because it's got that intro, and then it goes into a more, probably a more straightforward,
traditional standard
new album song.
Yeah.
Definitely Sabbath all dripping throughout it as well. But I always thought that the intro sounded to me, because I'm an old punk guy, it sounded like the punk rock band that tried to also sound like Sabbath, which was Black Flag. It had a very Black Flag feel to it because it didn't quite make sense, the guitar.
Did they name their band as part of their influence from Black Sabbath?
Well, they didn't really
thought
get
about that.
They didn't really get doomy Sabbathy until later.
Okay,
once Henry Rollins joined,
the name didn't
originally. No.
Okay, I didn't realize they were influenced by them as much as they were.
Yeah, their later stuff. If you listen to the mid '80s, so like from '83 to '85 era Black Flag stuff, it's very Sabbathy. It's like punk rock Sabbath.
Yeah,
which is why
their
I love
version
it.
of it.
So anyway, that band always kind of had a real what's the word, garagey feel to it.
Yeah.
Which I really just appreciate, because it sounds like I'm in their room while they're jamming. It's kind of how I always thought of their albums.
I like it.
Which is kind of what I dig. Anything else? Good on that one?
Nothing wrong with digging that. Don't apologize for it. Sound like you're ashamed of that.
Not at all. Okay, last song I'm going to play for you, and this is from a band called Fist.
Okay.
Newcastle band.
Wait to see where you're going with that.
They were a Newcastle band. Now, originally they were called Axe in 78 and 79, which...
I like that up until the point it became a deodorant.
Right. Much later. They only recorded one song as Axe, and then they became Fist. And their big claim to fame in 1980 was they supported UFO on their British tour in 1980, which that had to be an awesome tour. And their guitarist played with Venom for Venom's 85 tour. So he left Fist for a bit and played with Venom. And then the vocalist guitarist was also in several other NWOBM bands. He was in a band called Avenger. He was in a band called Blitzkrieg, Tigers of Pantang, Rain, Earthrod. All of these are kind of lower tier NWOBM bands that he was also in. So very prolific with his NWOBM. And then in 2001, of course, what did they do? They got back together and they released an album called Storm, which is actually the only album of theirs I own. However, I do have another one of those compilation albums, and I have something that they released in 1980, and that's what I'm going to play. So I'm going to play a song called Name, Rank, and Serial Number from their album Turn the Hell On in 1980.
Deceiving me, don't tell me the positions of your guns and armored forces. Fire! I've been your flesh, still the only thing that you will tell me, and the torment is your name, rank, and serial
that was kind of growing on me. I'm not sure about that one.
At the end, were you singing 1, 2, 3 days?
Well, it's one of the few NWOBM songs with claps in it. Also, they call
Claps, cowbell, and a Big Jack pneumatic middle.
Yeah, once again, we're getting ripped off left and right here. I mean, come on.
We got ripped off before we were even formed.
Exactly. They knew. They're like,
did they
no,
know?
this is what's going to happen down the road. 1,
So
2,
reminiscent
3
of a
days.
song we had called 3 Days.
That's the song. I've probably told the story before that the young lady I was dating inspired that song because we had shacked up for 3 days straight and had a great time. Everybody was just happy about our long weekend that we had together. And I wrote a song about it, and we went to play it. And I told her, I said, all right, I wrote a song, doesn't say your name, just be cool. It's a little fun song, just be cool. It doesn't say your name. She starts crying in the middle of that song. She's embarrassed.
How did she know that was hers?
Well, I think she'd heard the other songs, and she was there during those 3 days. So I think she remembers it. I would hope so. And that was just a random occurrence that her brother was there at the show too, who was a Marine.
He was happy with you.
Oh yeah. So I remember we finished our set. I'm putting away my guitar, and you turned to me and you're like, yeah. So Eva's brother's waiting for you out front to kick your ass.
Go out the back door.
Go out the back door. And that place actually that did have a back door to it. So yeah, I went and sat in the van. I think I just packed my guitar and walked out and then sat in the van, like really like on the floor of the van, and was worried that this Marine was going to find me and beat my ass.
He was going to simplify your ass.
And I didn't learn my lesson. I still wrote songs about ladies I was dating after that, and still,
What else you got to write about?
It was great inspiration.
Got to write about real life.
No, that was
man.
Eva.
We don't do Dungeons and Dragons lyrics.
Eva, she was
Eva evil.
Oh yes, Eva. Anyway, so yeah, that song 3 Days that you were referring to was our song, but it sounded kind of like that
Yeah,
song.
so the middle of this song and the outro, very reminiscent.
Yeah, that was a fun song. It was really, I don't know why we stopped playing it, but it was a good song. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, so here was a NWOBM band with to me, a very Blue Oyster Cult sounding song. The vocals even sounded Blue Oyster Cult to me, and then they had this middle section that was cowbell, hand claps, and then funky.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It was an interesting
You just
song.
don't get hand claps in the NWOBM very often.
Yeah, interesting song. I always like this band Fist. The one album that I have, like I said, was kind of them re-recording a lot of their older stuff.
So they get full royalties from it.
Yeah, well, whatever they're going to get. But it's called Storm, and it came out in the 2000s. And the reason I didn't play from that one, I wanted to get the real drum sounds because the version that came out in 2004, the drums are so gated and unnatural sounding that it just ruins the music. But the songs are cool, but the drums are just, it was a thing they were doing back then. But that's what I got for you today, man. We had a little NWOBM. Hopefully,
I forgot how much I enjoyed NWOBM. I don't know what it was. The first episode, I liked it. The second episode, this episode really, it reeled me in. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've just heard so much of the later metal that this is still new to me. New wave, get it?
Yeah,
but
I got you.
To me, it is just the core of metal that I really love.
Well, so many of the bands that you admire, that you love, came from this movement. Right. They went beyond it, but still, this is Motorhead. This is Maiden,
and
man.
I mean,
this is where
today,
it came from.
Speaking of,
Priest.
I listen to the satellite radio in my car. No Voices in the Sky came on, and I don't get to hear that very often. I don't have it on an album or anything like that, so I can't listen to that song loud enough. And so I had to roll down the windows. It was raining, but I rolled down the windows so that my dog would stick his head out the window, because even if it's raining, he puts his head out the window, and I didn't feel as bad about cranking it up really loud in traffic.
Stick your head out the window, deal.
Yeah,
Daddy's got a rock.
Exactly. I was like, hey, look, I'm going to just roll down the window I know it's raining, but it's not raining that hard, so go ahead and stick your head out the window because I got to crank this up. And that there's something in my blood that style of music is just, once again, the description of the Lemmy walking up to you, punching you in the face, and he just keeps punching you, and you're like, stop, no, stop. And he just keeps punching you for 3.5 minutes, and it's just, that's the feeling of these songs. And NWOBM has that feel where they just go. They're not very proggy. Later on, they would get very noodly, very proggy, very diddly diddly.
Especially Maiden.
Maiden would, and I like it. Good, give me a Trooper any day of the week, but Number of the Beast, I love all of that, but I guess I've just heard it so much that this stuff is refreshing, even though it's the precursor to what I like.
Well, for such a relatively small island country that is...
They make a lot of noise.
That is England and Wales and Scotland and Ireland even. So many bands from this very set period of time. There's so many bands out there.
And it was a very brief period of time. I mean, 4 years maybe.
Yeah, 4, maybe even only 3.
Yeah. 81. Yeah.
79, 80, 81.
Somewhere
by,
81-ish.
Yeah, maybe by 82 they were,
Yeah.
things were starting to change a little bit, but
there it's kind of like
incredible.
Seattle, there's different areas, regions that have their moments that was just it. That was that time.
Yep. And there's just so much more we can get into. So we'll do this again.
Yes, please.
All right. And with that, we will see you later. People.